owes him a bottle of whiskey. And I believe that's it. I think.
And also, Nate has a really creepy ass smile.
Yes, I do have a creepy ass smile. I got creepy ass eyes too, man. Just wait till you see. Yeah.
Well, we'll
I'm
see
gonna-
how much of that I can remember.
Yep.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
So it was the Comer bathhouses. Comer as in
Comer.
comb.
Mhm.
And
Come over about him. Yeah.
yes, that's right. And so it was up in. Does anybody remember where it is?
And it was night market, right?
So
I'd just like to point out that I remembered that because somebody made the pun of their all night markets.
You're welcome. Again.
very
Oh, I did forget one thing. We decided that we got our hideout by stealing it out from under Ulf Ironborn, and he and his rain capes are very mad that we did that.
that's true. Yes,
Oh, that's good.
filling in for one of the parts that we missed on the crew creation. You guys now have -2 with Ulf Ironborn.
One more and we go to war.
Yeah.
Nice.
Ooh, very nice.
But you also have a +1 with the gondoliers. So, believe it or not, they're tier 3. So that's not so shabby.
Real quick, does anybody is there any way to not have these portraits show at the bottom? Because since there's so many of us, it's taking up like half my
Yes.
screen.
Yes.
Go to the gear, then go to chat avatars, and you can switch it to names only or make it smaller.
Oh no shit! Look at that.
Yeah, that's the first thing I do. Is
It's near the
Thank you.
bottom.
Holy, oh my god, that is so much better. Thank you.
turn off video and voice and
Yeah,
Yeah.
make everything just names only.
literally I've had it scrolling around because we block half the fucking map.
While you're in there though, and for everyone else, would you mind changing your name to your character name?
Yes.
Yes, I do mind.
Do you want alias or name?
Alias, or whatever it is. Display name. That's the one.
Yeah, but I mean like characters alias or character.
Do you want it where like names are with the icons or just doing chat and stuff?
Hey guys,
Um,
mic working better now?
A little bit.
Yeah, a little louder.
A little bit.
Alright, cool.
Whatever you think you want to be called. So if you want to do the whole thing, you can do the whole thing. If you want to do the alias, that's cool too. Just asking people to change their names in Roll20, their display names to match the character.
Maybe start with the whole thing, and then however it shakes out, you end up being called. You switch it to that.
Right. So you guys are, I would say, we can kind of fast forward through sort of the next bits of information gathering as to when he might be there. Kind of that stuff is probably pretty trivial to grab onto.
Would it be hard to figure out which way he leaves, with the route that he follows home? If we want to ambush him when he leaves instead of killing him in a bathhouse.
That could be something that you could determine through flashback, perhaps.
Okay.
I have a question. Is the bathhouse next to a canal or otherwise near a canal? Because we have a boat.
And
Because
we
they
have
do need to
gondoliers.
get water from somewhere.
Yep, it certainly would be on the water. So yes, we'll say it's right on the canal.
Not on top of the city's only landlocked hot spring.
Yeah, come on, Matt, you've gone soft.
Okay, so first, really, the thing to determine is the how you're going to the type of plan that you're putting together. So the choices are really assault, deception, stealth, occult, social, or transport.
Occult. We're just gonna Leviathan nuke them, right?
Yeah, I mean I could.
Yeah, that's what you're for, right, Desmond?
It's subtle, right?
Do we all pick our own, or is it a group effort?
No, it's a group effort.
Is this a gender-specific bathhouse? Is it like segregated into like men and women's sections, or is it just kind of like a Grecan bathhouse where they're just all together in a big giant pool?
How would you picture it?
If this is a Victorian setting,
Yeah, they are definitely
Victorian is
separated.
sort of used loosely here, but
aesthetically and like the architecture. and
All I
whatnot, or-
imagine is that
Yeah.
all the old men there don't use the towels.
I think very I guess whenever I hear the word bathhouse, I think like a Russian like hothouse sort of deal. Like I see like shallow baths that people are just sitting in, like giant hot tubs with columns and stuff. But all I see is people getting beaten with like witch hazel, just like in the corner. I don't know. I'm sorry. But I do think there would be separate bathing pools for men and women.
tell us more about this witch hazel. Okay. So
I know that makes me kind of like not helpful.
no, I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm just getting back to the original question of men and women segregated. I would picture it as perhaps not,
Okay.
simply because there's no such thing as the Catholic Church in this setting.
Yeah.
The Church of the Ecstasy of the Flesh probably doesn't care that much about segregation.
They're all
That
about
is
they're
a
all
good
about those
point.
Catholic water slides.
It's probably good there's no Catholic church, so we don't have to have a separate room for the kids.
Oh boy, kids and priests in one
All
room.
right. So, all right.
Oh, no,
Is it
stop.
a nude bathhouse then, or is it like swimsuit attire?
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna just ask what we're dancing around, man. Is this like a tasteful bathhouse or is this a straight up whorehouse? Like,
So it turns out that the Comer Bathhouse has a rather reputable side to it, where people come and socialize and they talk and they gather and do their business, and maybe you have a drink of grappa while you're there.
okay,
And then if you want to go in the back room with one of the attendants while you're there, and
There's some butt
maybe your
touching
friends
going on.
won't even bat an eyelash at that. And that's just kind of the friends you have. But so it's got it's a very social whorehouse if if you
Okay.
consider it a whorehouse.
Yeah, like a socially acceptable whorehouse.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a strip club, but then you go in the back, and then they do other
Get a private
You
dance.
go, yeah.
a private dance.
Yeah, the champagne room, right?
And there's water. There's
Yeah.
baths.
There you go. There's
They're gonna
steam,
need the water and a power washer.
there's
Yeah,
steam
you're gonna
everywhere.
have to get between all those cracks.
But I would assume
Someone was
everybody
gonna
gets
go
naked. I would assume everybody gets naked.
Okay.
You could wear a robe or a towel around you if you're just kind of chilling. But if you get in
So-
the water,
If I choose to go in buck naked, is that a light load?
So yeah,
that's
very
kind of a light
light
load. That's an extremely light load.
Hard to bring any concealed weapons in
Um,
there.
I was gonna
are we
like keister.
are we
knives,
a-
Is that cool?
assassinating this guy or?
Yeah, we
Pretty
are
much.
air quotes sending him a message, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and air quotes.
We're sending him on a permanent vacation.
Yeah.
Very permanent.
Oh yeah, that's right. I asked how permanent she wanted the vacation to be, and she was like, "Fucking kill him." So
We do get a bonus if it's discreet, though.
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Is like,
I'm gonna go with we could lure him into a
Okay,
separate room somehow, even though I really don't want to be a part of that plan.
I mean,
One of us could like catch a disease and spread it to him.
so
Let me know who it was.
let me stop you there. So the planning phase, you're not supposed to get wrapped around the axle as to the details of the plan. You're supposed to kind of give me a general approach and give me a detail about what you're like, how you're going about that approach. But
somebody
I'm
also
supposed
mentioned snatching him on the way there or the way out of there.
yep, those are
Yeah,
are
just
valid
Just like
as well. But
pull up in the boat, snatch him, and then bring him out to sea.
Yeah.
yeah, how like this is more of like an out of like just a context question. How weird would it be for just like a boat to be chilling in the canal behind the bathhouse? Like, do they have like parking areas or like? Because I could just sit on the boat with my fucking hunting rifle and like dome shot him when he comes out. Like, rename our boat the Grassy Knoll. Like,
Well, you would have to consider how the gondoliers would feel about that, because they kind of rule the canals, and if they're letting if they're overlooking your activities, they can overlook it to a point. But if you're taking a rifle shot to somebody who's walking on the streets above, then that might be something that you'd force their hand, and they might not appreciate that.
Well, I'm not sure how down I am with just straight up killing the guy, but I mean, if we like
I mean, one of us
snatched
could
him,
like
tied him up, and shipped him off to the Deathlands over on Scovos or whatever it's called.
We could even talk to him and maybe figure out if there's another angle to work this from, too. If we kidnap him and take him out to sea.
Well, what we could do. I mean, I don't know how advanced the medicine is, but one of us could flirt with him and get him to go into a back room with us, and then
So you
just like
wanna
hold his
root-
mouth and nose closed until he suffocates to death,
yeah, does this rag smell like
and then just
chloroform
walk
to you?
away and act like it was like a heart attack or something.
Okay.
So poison him in the bathhouse.
I mean, it doesn't have to be poison. Like I said, you could just choke on
Overdose
him.
him in the bathhouse.
I mean, if I've proven anything, it's that overdosing on drugs is completely fine.
Oh man.
Just cost some money.
Just a bit, and some rep.
Oh yes. I'm still pretty salty about that. That's not appropriate.
Well, you know what?
Keep your drug habit under control, sir.
When we were describing you yesterday, your character
Oh yeah.
said you had an indeterminate amount of sisters, but I corrected them, let them know it was 4 and 6.
Yes, in between 4 and 6 sisters.
Hey, that's still indeterminate.
I mean, it is.
That's like
Yeah.
3 numbers. It
No,
could
she
be.
has 4.
You
Okay,
could have,
guys, she
like,
has
5 and a
4
half
Yeah, she
sisters.
has 4.5 sisters. There was an accident. We don't talk about it. Let's move on.
Oh.
Or maybe just one of them's like a dwarf.
Well, no, 2 of them each had separate accidents and lost a leg.
Before the accident, she had 3 3/4 sisters. So
Or it could be conjoined twins.
True. Oh, didn't even think of that. So
I mean,
hey,
it
Matt,
is a Catholic water slide. It's probably
A
got
master
pretty
blaster
wide.
situation.
You get 2 babies out at once.
go ahead.
so like legit question. I don't like. I know that you said that we do like flashbacks and stuff, but like,
Yeah.
how? So like because we don't really have like a planning phase. 'Cause that's kind of taken care of in the flashbacks. How are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 of us supposed to like cohesively interact in the same mission without a plan? Because like if Biddy is like, I'm gonna go in and seduce him, but then Griffin is like, I'm gonna poison him, and I'm like, I'll be on the gondolier, like waiting to shoot, like I understand what we're supposed to do. I just don't necessarily understand how it works, and that's probably because I haven't done one yet. So I can just like sit back and shut up.
Yeah.
But-
So, and this is
Yeah, do that.
yes, you should all do that for right now. No, seriously. So, like I was saying, you're not supposed to get wrapped around the axle with the planning phase. You're supposed to choose an approach, and it sounds like we're still choosing the approach. So, the type of plan, so if you wanted to all out assault the building and murder every person you saw, that would be one type of plan.
That's certainly an approach.
It sounds like you're moving in the direction of maybe deception or social, in terms of infiltrating the bathhouse.
Are we still at the place with Phoebe or not?
No, Phoebe left at the end.
Yeah, Phoebe
Okay,
left. You guys. So this presumably is taking place either in a corner of the meat house or in your hideout.
How long ago did she leave if we're still at the meat house?
An hour ago.
Crap.
Why?
Because I was gonna. Well, we learned that anyone who goes to her for drugs ends up pretty much dying. So I was gonna see if I could get some drugs from her to poison him.
Okay. Interesting.
She might not like that being able to be tied back to her. Though.
That's true. If she wants it not tied to her, we should probably not overdose him. If that's like her hallmark.
Or at least not on anything that she would.
Yeah.
Like if she's like high-end drugs, then we overdose them on something like street shit. But like,
Okay.
The vibe I got is that she pretty much just sells street shit.
yeah, I don't remember the specifics of.
Desperate people go to her
Yeah.
and then die.
But Nate, to your question about how am I going to involve all 6 of you in this caper, it's going to be a trick, but we're going to figure that out.
Okay.
And it's going to require some collaboration, and this is all about shared narrative. So we're going to work together on this as to
Okay.
how that's going to work. But the idea is, to give you an example of a score, if you wanted to say that your approach is stealth and you're going into a mansion to steal something, like we fast forward beyond like, okay, so let's take a look at all the guards patrolling around and let's see, is there a back entrance? Let me take a look at the archives to see if there's catacombs beneath the mansion. No, we blast past all of that, and I set you right down in the spot where, okay, well, you're dangling upside down from the 3rd-story window and trying to
Okay.
pick the lock on the window. And, your cohorts are placed in other areas around you that make sense. And, go. And that's kind of where the action begins is
Okay.
we sort of spin off of the initial like you're dangling above the window, and then somebody says, yeah, and I'm on the roof, doing lookout, and oh yeah, I'm on the ground floor, doing lookout there, or I'm trying to subdue a guard or something, or we kind of spin off of the initial setup to kind of move the whole narrative forward.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Good.
Okay, I think we should approach it with 2 people go in and try and like get friendly with him to convince him to leave, while 2 people guard the back and the front to make sure nothing suspicious is going on, get a clean escape. Because we're gonna drag him to are we gonna park the boat in the canal or?
So the parking the boat in the canal and determining where the back door is, that's all preparation that can be done via flashback. If your plan is to convince him to leave,
Steal, I think, is a more appropriate term.
Well, yeah,
Like,
because I mean,
stealing.
there's no way we're gonna be able to do it discreetly in the bathhouse.
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, we have to swing the like, oh, sorry, my friend had too much to drink, even though he's clearly like unconscious. We'll just bring him home, and then like everybody saw us walk out with him, and that is not what we really need.
Okay. So you're gonna do this sort of the deception way. Yes?
Sounds fun.
Yeah.
Sounds like
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm okay with deception.
Okay. And so we'll open on, let's say, so it's sort of an exclusive bathhouse, but we'll say that.
What's our load for this, by the way?
That's your what depends on what items you're carrying.
Yeah. So that's up to you how you want to do this.
Alright.
So the plan is deception. The detail is the method of deception. So you're going to bluff your way in or use some forged documents to get into the bathhouse and somehow convince him to leave. Is that the
Yeah.
long and
sounds
short of it?
about right.
Okay.
Sure.
And there's going to be complications along the way, just so you know. But you might have prepared for some of those, and that's how we deal with those via flashbacks. So after that's in place, we do loadouts. So
Alright.
so you don't have to select individual items right now. This is just the maximum amount you'll have access to during the action. So I kind of detailed what the loadouts mean, but if you want to kind of get a bit of a lowdown on that. It's
Now, things in italics don't count towards the load.
that's right. So it's just kind of assumed you're carrying those anyway.
Yeah,
But that's
'cause I have
just
like 4 of those.
of your special items that you can have.
Yeah. I mean, these are things that, like I said, you don't check off the boxes now. You wait until, and so you can go up to your maximum load during the mission.
So basically, like if we're going along and then somebody says I pull out a sword, they would check off a box for like a blade or two
yes,
once they declare they have a sword on them.
yep, exactly.
What about the playbook specific items? Do those have different rules, or
Nope,
Yeah,
they all count against
They're just-
against your load.
something
Um,
your
Yeah, unless they're
playbook
in
only
italics.
has access to?
Yeah, so like I have I have a fine long rifle, a fine pair of pistols, Ghostbuster bullets, a trained hunting pet, and a spirit bane charm. But like Desmond doesn't because he's not a hound.
Yeah,
I mean, I
like
do
I have a
human nature.
cover identity and a bottle of whiskey and blueprints and stuff as a spider.
Yeah, the same ones.
Yep.
And so you can presume that you can utilize any of them at any time, but once your load is maxed out, that's all you've brought with you.
All right. Thank you.
Do we each determine our own load, or like per load value, or do we all have to have like a light load or a normal load or a heavy?
So you determine what your load is right now. So light,
Right, I'm
you're
just-
faster,
Do
less
we all need to have the
conspicuous.
same thing? Like, do we all have to be light, or can I be light and like?
Oh no, yeah, you can all be different loads.
Okay,
All right.
So
go light.
just check the box now as what you want.
Yep.
So light, you're fast, less conspicuous, you blend in. Normal, you look like a scoundrel. You're ready for trouble. Heavy, you're slow. And you're definitely an operative on a mission. So let me. So now we go for the engagement roll. It's a simple fortune roll. You get 1 die for luck, and you take dice for advantages and disadvantages that you've got. So, do you think this is particularly bold or daring?
I mean, I would argue somewhat because he is a member. We don't know what, like, how far up he is in the hive, but I mean,
Yeah, we're kind of screwing with
Yeah.
a really high.
yeah, the hive's
Level
tier
gang here.
4,
Definitely
so
punching above our weight of 0,
yeah, even the bottom of their totem pole is still higher than ours. So
and it's not our specialty type of job.
Right. Okay.
I would say it's relatively
Right.
risky.
I would say so. So that gives you a +1 die for the engagement roll.
Sweet.
So for the plan's detail, do you think it exposes a vulnerability of the target or or does it hit them where they're weakest?
Naked
Yeah.
at a bathhouse?
I would say so, yeah.
I would argue against it, in that you haven't really established much beyond this guy just visits bathhouses.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say that it's more of like a neutral. Like it's not necessarily in our favor, but not necessarily in his. I mean, if we know his routine, and if he's a higher up, he kind of has that arrogance of like, I can go to the bathhouse. I'm not going to get jumped. Sorry, rest. And I realized that.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. So do you think any of your friends or contacts could provide aid or insight for this?
I could try and see if I could get anything from my information broker friend. If he has any vices that could be exploited to get him to leave the bathhouse with one of us.
Okay. That I might say is more of a flashback that maybe you want to use in the situation. But I mean I'm certainly open to that idea of maybe they're exposing something that you're that you'd want to exploit. I don't know. Do you want to make a consort roll right now to see if she'd be willing to give something up on this guy?
Sure.
Okay. So click on consort, and we'll say it's from a controlled stance, but with normal effect. No bonus die.
No whammies, no whammies.
Yeah. So the way the roll works, Reston, since this is your first roll,
Alright.
and you're going to want to rename your character, by the way.
Yes.
Something other than Reston's spider. But generally you take the highest die, and if you roll a 1, 2, or 3, that's a failure and you get consequences. If you roll a 4 or a 5, that's a success and you get a minor consequence. If you roll a 6, that's a complete success and no consequences. If you roll multiple 6s, that's a critical success. And so the effect is generally elevated a level.
So I did poorly.
You did poorly. So I'm going to say that Celia likes you, but maybe she might have tipped him off that somebody was asking about him. And so maybe I'll give you a negative die in the engagement roll.
Going great already.
Hey,
That's it. You're out of the gang.
that's it. Yep.
Oh yeah, did we establish if your friend Celia and my enemy Celia are the same Celia, or are they two different Celia?
I mean, you could rename one to be something else. I kind of like the idea that they're the same person.
So do I.
Me too.
Maybe she heard that Thorn was on the job as well, and didn't want to provide the information. So you've got a rival working against you. Do you think any other rivals would be working against you on this one? Anybody?
Not mine, at least.
Any other friends or contacts that might be able to help out? No?
Yeah.
I mean,
If
I
we were
have a
doing a
possessor
straight up
demon.
assault,
Well, so this one we're going for deception, I believe.
yeah, I know. I was saying, mine can really only help if it's an assault.
Okay.
Celine is kind of like my personal guardian angel, so if shit hits the fan, I guess you would maybe swing in to help us out, but not like in a definite way.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else we want to consider? This is a high tier target, but I'm not going to make you take a negative die for that. So seems like a fortune roll of 1. Thorn, why don't you take the fortune roll? Just 1 die.
Gonna be a 6, I feel it.
Come on, one.
And the game is
I'll
over.
settle as a 4.
3.
Oh, we got a 3. All right.
That's bad.
Well, so it's a bad result. So it says you're in a desperate position when the action starts. So.
Lots of experience.
So most of you have filtered your way into the bathhouse. I'd say all of you are in the bathhouse. You have, let's say, a lackey who is ready at the boat to sort of push off when things go awry, as they inevitably will. You have tracked the target to one of the back rooms, where he has taken one of the younger attendants, I should say, of the bathhouse into the back room, and the curtains are drawn, and there's steam and giggling going on behind the curtains, and it looks like he's got some bodyguards there that are looking rather tough, and a few of you are gathered in one of the nearby um, nearby, sort of curtained off areas with, some booze, and you're relaxing in the bath. You've actually spent a bit of a few slugs to get, to worm your way in here. But something seemed a little off to the attendant, to the maitre d, if you will, of the bathhouse. When he looked over the forged documents that you provided, and he did a little checking into it, and he appears next to the tub that you're in, and I'm picturing all of you who have gone light load are in this tub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are his bodyguards like still clothed, or does he just have like 2 buff dudes in towels guarding his like?
The bodyguards are still clothed.
Right. So
And the security guards, who are also working security for the bathhouse and following the maitre d, are approaching. You can hear the footsteps coming down the hall. You can hear the maitre d kind of explaining loudly to the security guards about how, yes, something just didn't look right about that new party that came in.
Oh.
And he says, I believe they're in just over here in the sapphire room.
Is there another exit from the sapphire room, or is there just one exit from the sapphire room?
So it's curtains all around. So
I say we duck out through the opposite curtain than we hear the people coming from.
We could just try to play it cool. Bluff our way out of this.
Yeah.
I'm staying. This water feels nice.
I'll stay too.
It'll be super suspicious if we did.
Like, it doesn't already look suspicious with 5 gentlemen and a single lady in a tub.
Yeah, but that's the
Four of
good
us
kind
are
of
gay.
suspicious.
Okay, I guess we're going out. We're gonna
So,
try and bluff
hey-
our way out.
Hey Matt.
Yeah.
If you said everybody with a light load is in the tub, if I were to have a normal, could I pose as a bodyguard for a group, or like, do you only get a bodyguard to come in with you if you're like real important?
if you've selected your load already, I'm going to say no. But yeah, I mean, if you had an understanding at the bathhouse, I'm sure they would let you in. They might take some bluffing if they didn't really know you, but I'd allow that, sure.
Could he take a flashback to make that decision?
Well, I mean, so this is his first score, so we'll go a little easy and say sure, but we'll need a flashback to the point where you're bluffing your way in to be a bodyguard for who's the VIP?
I am. Duh.
Yeah, I was gonna say Bella. I'll go with Bella.
All right.
We're doing business, and I didn't want to be alone
With
strange
the 4
men.
men.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or
maybe-
alternatively, we're your floozies.
So you came in 2 parties then. Makes sense. So who's doing the bluffing then?
I'll be the self-important. I'll just bluff self-important noble again, basically. I'll
Okay.
just be like, I have to have my bodyguard in there. You can't believe that I will allow myself to be unescorted in this bathhouse. And I'm sure your reputation is fine, but as a lady, we have to be accountable for our own personal safety, and I can't believe that you would just not allow me to have my bodyguard in there with me.
Okay.
Do you know who I am?
Do you want aid
Oh.
on that roll?
Well, of course, we're going to need. I would assume the aid would come mostly from Harrier.
Yeah.
I can flashback aid with my foresight thing.
Okay.
And it cost me no stress.
Okay. So you sent a note forward, perhaps?
Yeah.
Okay. So you get a bonus die from aid.
Okay.
You can push yourself for another bonus die.
I can only
I
do
can't.
twice
I
per
can't
score.
also aid, right? If he's already aiding.
That's right.
Okay.
But
Never mind then.
nobody's getting stressed for that if he. So what action
Sway.
are
How
you
does
taking?
assisting work?
I'm gonna do sway then,
Okay.
and I'm going to. I would get 2 die and then the aid, right?
Yes.
You have 2 in sway.
I do have 2 in sway.
So you click on sway, and then you get 1 bonus die.
Sway. Position is
We'll stay risky.
okay.
Effective
Effect.
standard.
Standard. Bonus die 1. Oh. This looks like this trip is just gonna be wonderful
Oh
for
my
all of
God.
us.
Okay.
Good boy.
So Harrier, you know that thing where I was saying, we're gonna go easy on you and let you retcon your normal load. You're gonna have to go back down to a light load. You're welcome to attend as a guest of the bathhouse. We'll even extend the courtesy of a significant discount to your bodyguard, but he is not to bring any of his weapons with him.
I can't believe this. Fine, fine. But it's going to be a severe discount. I'm going to use a very grumbly voice.
So she says that I can't bring in any weapons or anything, and I kind of look down and I say, and you will be holding on to them for me.
Yes, absolutely. Well, one of our own security staff will be glad to put those in a locker for you.
I am sure that none of your security staff are known for having sticky fingers with such valuable items.
He wipes his forehead with a handkerchief. He says, "No, of course not. Your valuables are perfectly safe here."
He looks like stressed. Is there any way to kind of like,
Yeah,
really, we completely believe you, totally.
Well, I mean, because I know that like the sway didn't go well, but can I try and like pressure him with like a command, like to try and intimidate him into letting me still have my stuff, or is it like the sway roll failed, so it's like that's the track it's going on?
So the no, I mean you could recover this possibly. If you want to try and command, but that would be from a desperate position.
I could assist though, right? Because I'm still kind of glowering angrily at this, gentleman that's denied me. So I'm hoping to
Well, I'm gonna say the effect of your roll precludes you from doing that.
Okay.
Otherwise, I would say yes, you could assist.
Okay.
Okay,
But-
so he's like kind of like he's already like sweating and freaked out a little bit. So I kind of like not slam my hand on the table, but let it drop pretty heavily, and I lean in and I say, I understand that you're just doing your job, but her boss very fond of her, and it would be an utmost shame that I would have to inform him that I was not able to do my duty because you were doing yours so well. And if something bad were to happen at the bathhouse, and I kind of like raise my eyebrows and give him a look and say, trust me, I'm protecting the bathhouse as much as I am protecting the lady here.
Smile at him.
All right.
Yeah, give him a smile. Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm fucking like half demon, so I totally play that shit up. Like I'm just fucking terrifying.
Okay. So again, this is from a risky position. We'll say it's standard effect. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is from a desperate position. Is anybody going to try and assist in some manner, albeit remotely because it's supposedly just these two trying to
Can
infiltrate?
I take 2 stress to push myself?
Yep, you can
Let me
I'd
do
like
that.
to assist.
with your foresight.
So I
course.
get 2 bonus dice.
I'm just trying to determine how you would assist with the foresight this time.
Oh, I was
Oh, that's
wanting
like a spider class feature that I have that lets me do that.
Okay.
We're different people, Matt. I know you called him James earlier, but
The-
we're different people.
The Jays. I'm sorry. No. So, how would you assist from afar?
I'm just gonna make it look like I'm like really just a bad kind of person, and I'm gonna do terrible things to Bella once we get in here.
Like the only thing holding you back is this bodyguard.
Pretty much, like
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah, if
I'm
he's
gonna
playing
grab
that
her
up.
ass.
Okay. So you the second party arrives as the first is trying to negotiate the inclusion
Leering
of their bodyguard,
lasciviously.
and yeah. So Griffin glowers and grunts and does his thing. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, so I kind of just like nod over and say, "See what I mean?"
All right, so you're gonna do your command still from a desperate position,
Yep,
standard effect with.
yep.
Are you pushing yourself?
I am pushing myself. Yes.
So that's 2 bonus die.
2, 6, 1, 4.
You got a 6.
Okay.
Finally.
Look for the highest one. Okay, so yeah, you just saved all that. You saved everybody's bacon there, pretty much, in terms of being able to get yourself in with a normal load. You look like a bit of a scoundrel, but that's sort of the point.
Yeah. And as so after like Griffin comes up and is like doing his thing, and we're walking off, and the attendant is probably finally breathing a sigh of relief, I just go, "If need be, I'll clean up the blood."
All right. Okay, but you're still in this situation where the guy's coming down the hall. He's got security attendants coming in with him, and he's about to push the curtain open. You guys are just chilling, acting like nothing's wrong.
Yes. Now,
Yep.
as a spider, it says I can have a fine cover identity. Would that be of any assistance to me?
I'll be right back. Real quick.
Yeah, I mean, are you impersonating somebody, or what would you envision as a covered identity for you?
Just no one they particularly know, but just a businessman who's here consorting with this other party that, you know, I came in as a separate party from them. And so while they were looking over their cover identities and that they were looking a bit suspicious, mine was just someone who's meeting up with them and not necessarily linked with them.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just wondering what's material to the situation, but yeah, obviously you can
No, well, you can
be
we heard them talking about how there was something suspicious about our group, and
yeah. So this goes back to the engagement role, which I'm going to say kind of supersedes some of that.
yes, that's fair.
Yeah, and so the engagement role is sort of how you all flubbed as a group, you know, and so. Do we want to say that this spider is immune to that effect? Is that so? That's your special ability?
No, that's one of the spider's unique items.
Okay.
It specifies it's a fine cover identity, or
So we're assuming forged documents. I
Yeah.
get it. I get it. Is that what that really means? Let's take a look.
Yeah, I think
Or
it even
just so
comes
that
with,
he
like,
has an
references.
alter ego that is.
Yeah, paperwork
Guys,
and
I
planet
have a
stories and stuff.
question
Yep,
already.
cool. Yeah, so we'll say the spiders are immune from the forged documents being a problem. You're going to assume that you're perhaps able to bluff your way past that, but the rabble that you're with seems to have landed themselves in some trouble. Biddy, you were saying something?
Oh no, I was just saying that it doesn't necessarily. It could be an alter ego, maybe, and not a cover story. Not like forged documents, but like actually like a different persona or something like that. You know.
The
Sure.
description in the book kind of implies it's a bit of both.
Yeah. Which is fine. Maybe you want to give your cover identity a name at some point. Expound on who you're supposed to be. Think Chuck Finley from Burn Notice, right?
All right.
So let me ask 13, since you're new at this, and I'm just throwing this out there. Do you have any tricks up your sleeve, or did you decide on a ritual that maybe can be useful here?
Well, for the ritual, I did kind of like that idea of the Leviathan bomb, so it's probably not going to be helpful here.
Degrees of helpful, right?
Yeah, if we want to
Okay,
stay a
so
little
they're
subtle.
still coming towards the curtain, right?
Yes.
Okay, I want to get down, grab the manacles I had with my clothes, wrap them on my wrists, get on all fours, and yell, "Spank me, Thorn, yeah!"
Oh God, really?
Don't walk
Well,
out.
I mean-
It'll be embarrassing. Spank me, yeah!
I'm using my cover identity, so I'm not gonna like respond to Thorn.
It's a nickname.
Oh. Oh no.
Oh boy.
Oh God.
All right, I think what do you want us to roll to, I guess, gross them out so bad they don't decide to come in?
Someone hit me harder. Oh.
Okay.
He's like,
So
Guess
what
that's-
action would you say this is?
I guess it would be a sway action.
I would think so, yeah, right?
I can't think of anything else it would be.
All right. So is anybody going to assist?
I will assist by doing some very audible moans of enjoyment.
Question: is there anyone else in this room with us?
It's just
I imagine that I was on the outside.
Are we in like a private bath?
Yeah,
Or-
you're in a private, but a more or less private bath. There's curtains, basically, that serve thick curtains that serve as privacy.
So we could just vocally act this. We don't have to
yes.
physically
As
act it
long
out.
as we,
You don't
as long
have to
as
speak,
we-
but I mean,
How
They're gonna be
committed are
waiting
we
for that
getting to
snap.
this?
like,
They're not. I'm not going to actually participate. She's gonna hold the line there. She's just gonna act along with the audible.
I'm gonna smack myself in the butt just to make a red mark.
would we maybe call this a group action?
Oh man.
Under teamwork, there's lead a group action.
Possibly, yeah.
Matt, you put us in a bathhouse. What did you really expect?
Oh, wow.
Gotta
Okay.
get my arm in there all the way up to the elbow.
Okay.
So I'm on the outside, like leaning up against the wall, and as I see them walking towards us, I just look at them and shake my head.
Okay, what position? The position.
I'm gonna say it's desperate.
Oh, okay, probably.
And so I'm still trying to look up the group action here. How to run that. But yeah, so this is bad. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Matt makes a note: no more bathhouses.
No more bathhouses. No more anything.
It could be worse. At least we're getting the really awkward scenes over early this game.
Do we Do we realize what a desperate situation we're in?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, your
Just-
cover's about to be blown, and your group is not far.
I mean, like, if there's ever a point where your group of criminals has to pretend to bang each other to get out of trouble, I think we realize how desperate we are.
Hey, that's just the group of people we are, okay?
Yeah.
Hey,
Because
We're not doing this because we don't want to. We're doing it because everyone in this group is okay with this, essentially.
I'm
Yeah.
doing it because I like to get hit.
yeah, I mean,
I mean,
Wester's willing to commit if he needs to. He
damn
doesn't
it.
half-ass this sort of thing.
Don't get both cheeks. Don't half-ass it.
So yes, I'm getting in there on him.
Matt.
Yeah.
So I have this thing called a ghost key, and it says an arcane device that can open ghost doors. There's an echo of the entire city across the ages trapped in the demon field. Sometimes a door to that place can be found. What does that mean? Can I go inside if I open a door? Or, like, is it just...
Do you want to go in the ghost town?
I don't know. Can I throw those guys into it?
So it's well, this is entirely up to us to define how we want this to work. Keep in mind that we're substituting demon wherever we see ghost.
Okay, so it's a demon key. I like it.
Yep, and you are potentially opening a doorway into a demon-controlled realm.
I
Alright.
picture the Fate from Dragon Age.
Okay, so if I open it, can I close it quickly?
I mean, if some giant fuck-off demon doesn't put his foot in the door.
Now, are you picturing this working on just in thin air or on any solid surface?
I was thinking it would. Well, I don't know. Demon key. Maybe.
I thought
And they come in and find us having an orgy with a bunch of demons.
Yeah, I feel like they wouldn't like that. Maybe it works like it's a regular key. So maybe at any entrance, if I use it at an entrance, it opens. Because it says it's an echo of the city, so it's like you open a door to the this realm that's like
Yeah.
a copy of the city. So maybe I could use it at entrances or something.
Okay. Would you imagine there is a lot of sound or smoke or something associated with this door?
Well, so, I mean,
The screams of the damned.
yeah, I mean, probably something.
I'm not opposed to you using it. I'm just trying to
I don't
figure
know
out
if I
how.
want to use it now. I
how
just
to
want to
manifest.
know if I can like throw people at the demons, or throw demons at the people.
Yeah.
I
So
did find a group action, Matt.
yeah. So I figured out how the group action is going to work. But yeah, that's up to us to kind of determine what level of effect that would have. Whisper is supposed to have some powerful things they can do. So that seems reasonable and also horrifying. So yeah, we could. I could see that being a thing that happens. That you open it, you
So-
throw somebody in, you close it, and they get
Kind
lost
of.
in there for until they find a way out somehow.
Yeah, kind of what I'm thinking is I can open this kind of doorway where they're trying to come in, and then Harrier would push them through, and then I would close it.
but that's the problem is you just said it works like a normal key and we are in a curtained room.
Yeah, I just said any entrance, you know.
I've got an entrance you can use it on.
Oh wow!
Oh,
Oh
boy.
gosh. I was thinking kind of like in Bioshock Infinite sort of deal where she like tears open like.
You know, I may be part demon, but I think I'd draw the line at pushing people into interdimensional assholes.
I was thinking more of like a Mr. Slave type deal.
Um,
Maybe they can meet Lemmy Winks.
I like the Bioshock Infinite thing, and yeah, maybe there's a whole like after echo of a city that once was in going on in there.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Let's roll with that.
I would love to say that I played that game, but I didn't.
I didn't either.
It's
Okay.
It's pretty good.
it's a portal hanging in the air that just kind of leads to alternate timelines, but
Okay.
in this case, an echo of Duskfall that was. Okay, so uh, are we leading a group action now? Is that what's going on?
Yes.
Okay, so
Making orgy sounds.
which action are we doing? Sway? Is that? Did we settle on that?
Sure.
Yeah.
Probably
Yes.
Sway.
Okay, so
Try and convince them we're having an orgy.
everyone who's participating rolls Sway, but for everyone that gets a 1 to 3, the leader takes a stress. But
Oh,
but you take the overall best roll for the group.
okay.
So
Okay, well, I'm gonna push myself then because I don't have any in sway.
well,
I have one.
Who's gonna be the
Or can
leader
you
on
still
this
push
one?
yourself on this?
I guess you can. Just to let, yeah, sure.
So we all roll a sway.
A desperate position. Standard effect.
Yeah.
Boom, 4.
I'll push myself as well because I have
Oh.
no Sway.
Hey, I gave you a 1.
I got a
I
6.
got a 6.
I got a 5.
Okay. So we get a lot of participation every round, all the way around. So it looks like we got two stress being taken,
So I did bad.
3 stress
3.
being taken. From the who was leading it? Is that Thorn? Griffin?
Sure, yeah, I can
You
take it, I guess.
initiated.
Yeah,
I
you-
initiated technically.
Griffin
Oh,
initiated.
I
Griffin
guess.
initiated. That's right.
Oh, but your name was the one that was called out, even though it wasn't the correct name.
Well,
Yeah.
I would suggest Griffin lead it, but
Okay.
Yeah.
So how much stress?
it looks like 3.
Oh God, one more and I get a trauma.
A quick question. It says we're supposed to mark down experience and we take part in a desperate action.
That's true.
Uh,
This is
Isn't that action's attribute? So that would be like a resolve XP in that case.
yeah. What the hell? You all get 1 resolve XP if you participated in this debauchery.
And that would be in Slay, right?
No, it's
No, it's in resolve, like those little like
Oh,
bookmark
yeah,
looking things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
then when that fills up, you get to put a dot in something in that category.
Nice. Okay. Nice. We did pretty good.
yeah. So
Wait,
what?
so then sorry. So did I get an experience for my bluffing at the beginning when I was like, hey, let me in? Is that how that works? Because that was desperate.
Yes, you did.
In resolve as well.
You were trying to command, so yes. Okay, so Cricket, you rolled the 6.
yes.
What do you think really sold it for them to kind of get them to turn around?
And this is after they come through the door onto our side. And we're trying to get them to pay attention to us so we can shove them through the demon door.
No,
We're not doing that.
No, we're not.
I'm
No, we're
sorry.
this is a full orgy. We're demon doors
We're
later.
They're trying to make it so
trying-
awkward, they turn around and don't even come in.
Yeah, demon
Yeah.
door the backup plan.
yeah.
All right. So what am I doing to really sell this whole orgy thing?
That's up to you. Though it has to be vocal and not like an actual action. So
No,
Well,
that's not true. That's not true.
I mean,
at all.
he could stumble out of the curtain covered in booze and something else. Maybe crying a little bit.
All right. I'm who's the one who is smacking your rear?
Yo,
I'm gonna need you to rough me up a bit in a sexual sort of way.
okay.
Yes. So leave some marks and
I want to leave a little cut on his right cheek and a bruise on his left.
Boy.
reddened rear end.
And I want to have a hickey on his neck.
Yep.
That seems a tall order for a short span of time, but okay.
He's very experienced.
I mean, that's I could do those all at the same time.
Yep.
Let's
Hey,
be-
you got 2 hands and a mouth.
And then I stumble out of there in a drunken like stupor, and he pulls me back in, and there's sort of giggling and not a sort of oh god I'm being pulled back in, please help sort of situation, but a playful sort of thing.
Oh, stop. Okay.
I look at the attendant and the 2 bodyguards that are coming, and just say, "I'm Taikarosi. I'm part demon. I've seen things. I've seen this. I never want to see it again. I'd stay out here if I were you."
Oh, we just wish you were in here with us. I'd love to see what you're just like us underneath those trousers.
The attendant sees this, and he stops in his tracks, and he says, "Oh, we'll escort them out later."
Probably for the best.
Send us more drinks while you're out there, please.
Oh.
So he says this, and I look at the attendant and I say, "I'm a bodyguard, not a fucking waitress. You heard him."
Okay. Yeah. So there's that just happened. That was. Yep.
You brought this on yourself, Matt.
I don't. I'm crying. I'm crying.
It's only 9:45.
Yeah. So I desperately need another drink.
So while we've been doing all of this lovely everything, has he come out of his curtain at all?
No. You can hear some giggling and moaning going on over there as well. Someone from a different quadrant of the bathhouse says, "Keep it down over there."
Maybe we should look to combine our parties.
I don't know. I don't feel like being a Catholic water slide.
You ever seen a Catholic water slide? I've seen a Catholic water slide. I don't want to see a Catholic water slide again.
I guess it would be a mudslide, wouldn't it?
Oh. Can we keep my mother out of this?
Wow.
So what happens next, Matt?
Let's move on.
Well, we've moved on past the slightly desperate situation, and so I mean you found yourselves in the bathhouse, and you have your target more or less in sight, you think. So what's your next move?
I guess we need to stumble over there and kind of make sure that he's over there.
I want to head in past his curtain on all fours, still with the manacles still on, and like a ripped part of my shirt in my mouth, like tied around.
Eh, okay. So
The entertainment has arrived.
yeah. So what are you trying to survey, or what's the action you're going with here?
I'm going for a survey. Like, I'm not gonna walk all the way in, but I want it to look like I'm not just some dude. Because maybe he'll invite me in, but it's more of just a survey for now to see what's in there.
Okay. Still pretty outlandish for what is normally a relatively tame bathhouse scene. So I'll put you in a desperate position as well,
Okay.
and probably limited effect.
Can I be at the ready, sort of, kind of like, if he gets too outrageous, like, kind of come up behind him and be like, "Oh, that's where you went. You should come back to ours," sort of deal. Maybe flash some side boob. Kind of like, don't look at him, look at me. Like, it's less awkward.
So yeah, so let's get to the reaction that you get from the crawling along, you've already attracted notice of the guards uh, around your target's area, and the man crawling with the manacles around his hands and
But I heard monocle and I had no idea how to picture that. Okay, that makes so much more sense. The fucking monocle is where? Like, what? That makes so much more sense. I'm glad that I now understand what's going on.
It's a monocle for my brown eye.
All the better to see you with, my dear.
oh boy.
Uh,
So the guards give you a stern look and look at each other and kind of nod, and one of them pokes his head inside the curtain and says, "Boss, I think we should wrap this up. Time to get out of here." And then the situation shifts. The atmosphere changes. There's no more laughing and giggling. There's just some hurried mumbling that you can hear through the curtains.
I don't mean to be negative, Nancy, but I'm not sure this is going super well.
What? No.
I wanna get up, take the manacles off, and burst through the.
Okay.
And then I want to grab the pouch of throwing knives I keistered earlier. Flashback. Toss
Whoa.
one at Eberhard.
So,
Oh.
okay. So you, the guards are, pretty much fully on alert at this point, and they're not going to make this easy for you. So you can go ahead and make a desperate attempt. We'll say with standard effect, and this would be, which action are you undertaking?
Skirmish.
Skirmish.
I would
Okay.
imagine for that, yeah.
So, ah, fuck.
Well, I was going to ask if anybody wanted to assist, but I guess you don't need.
I'm not. Yeah, no, I'm not close enough.
Yeah. So.
I wish I hadn't been the one to follow you if you were gonna get into a fight, mister.
You knew this was gonna happen.
Yeah.
I knew it was gonna happen, but I mean, I had hope. I
thought we were gonna kill him when he left.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, man. This stuff's just getting crazy. I just need
It's going down now.
It's going down now. Yeah. So Griffin does a
Master of information.
yeah. Hidden in his robes, he had a throwing knife and does a somersault between the two guards underneath the curtain. Comes up with a throwing knife and wheels it around to stick the landing, if you will, right into Rumler's abdomen.
His livy bits.
His livy bits. He looks like he's shocked, to say the least, to now be the new owner of a throwing knife in his abdomen. And he lets out a cry. He's like, ah! And
I've been stabbed.
essentially, that's what
My livy bits.
the cry is saying. And the guards turn to try and wrestle with you, but so the things are escalating pretty quickly here. Somebody else want to take a move here?
I would like to. Can I throw trance powder at one of the guards? That's one of the items that I already have, like on me.
Sure.
What does that do? Is that like knockout powder, or like fizzy powder, or like?
It's
What
fizzy
level
lifting
of-
drink.
What
Fizzy does.
level of trance is it?
Well, that's a good question. So, I'm not really sure. Do we want to? What level of trance would you think it would be? Do you think it's like throwing coke in somebody's face, or?
pure white tar, black tar Mexican cocaine. It's right in
What?
the face.
None,
Not
none of
heroin.
those things. That is not how that works. I think it's kind of be like
How about scopolamine?
trance powder.
Those
It
are
would
the words.
be almost instantaneous, but it doesn't knock them out. It just makes them like super dizzy and like they need to sit down, almost like vertigo,
Yeah.
and then they like just kind of zone out.
Okay.
Oh, I
it's
wish you would have
not
gone with
knockout.
scopolamine.
But it's like it definitely has an instant reaction, sort of. Oh shit, my head! I gotta sit.
Yeah. Okay. So how are you attempting to get this in the guard's face?
So they're alerted, obviously,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
So I obviously couldn't just like waltz up to them and blow it in their face or anything like that. I guess I could. Would finesse it work? Like if I got close enough and just kind of like got just close enough to get it in their face. I'm not doing any actual attacking, sort of deal.
Could hey Matt, well she like if I see her trying to do that, can I try and get the guard's attention so that he turns to look at me, and as he's looking at me, she has a shot at his face?
Yeah, I'll allow that for an assist.
Okay. So
Okay,
I see her going up, and I do like a hey, and then like your instinct is kind of look towards that, so
Yeah.
looks
So
around and
finesse that then, I guess, since it's not early skirmish.
Okay.
Or would that be risky?
What do you mean risky?
Well, I mean, what do you want me to roll it as?
So yeah, that would be a yeah. We'll call it risky.
Okay. And then standard.
Yes.
Okay, and then I get one bonus dice.
yeah. 'Cause
I'm
I'm
adding-
used to-
I'm adding a clock for Rumlar's demise. He's already got some. He's already got a knife inside of him, so I'm putting 2 on that clock for the. Well, actually, you got 3 on him, so I'll put 3 on the clock. He's pretty close to
He-
done, but he's still got a little life left in him.
Like super urgent medical attention.
All right, so you managed to get the we'll say it's a small small bag that kind of explodes on impact, launched at the guy's face. But you also, in your haste to get the bag out of wherever you had hidden it, get a good whiff of it yourself.
Ooh, so I have to sit down.
No, we'll just say you take some stress because you're actually used to handling this stuff, but
Yeah.
this guy got a little bit of a strong dose, and so you're a little off kilter. So we'll give you a stress for that.
Okay.
Question. Are we connected to this other room just by like a solid wall or curtains hanging between us, or
It's curtains. Yeah,
are we adjacent, or
you're
are there
2
people
down.
between us?
There's
Are they beaded curtains?
No. These are think like almost velvet. And there's actually an empty bath in between yours and theirs. So
I'm gonna try
Is
and
it
see if I
adjacent
can
to
curtain.
his?
adjacent to
Our targets?
whose? The empty ones?
The empty one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hence between yours and theirs.
Yeah. All right. Well, you said there were 2 between us, and the empty one could be
I'm
either
sorry.
one.
Yes. No, you're right.
so sorry. Yeah, were you gonna say something else, Rustin?
I was just thinking about the best way to approach getting him without raising too much of a commotion.
Well, I was under the assumption that like the commotion has already been raised, right, Matt?
Oh,
Like, so
yes.
people like freaking out and
Oh yeah, the alarm's
Okay,
pretty
so-
much going off right now.
so seeing. Can I take a turn now? Like, is that how
Yeah.
this works?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Anybody can jump in.
so seeing as how that like we have kind of done away with the stealthy thing, Wait 1 second. I gotta check and see who it is that doesn't like us. Can I get a clear shot on him if I like take some steps forward?
I mean, we
Like,
haven't
to
alerted
shoot
the whole
him?
bathhouse, really. I mean, they know something's going on, but if you fire a weapon,
But wait, is it not? Okay, I think I'm not understood. Like I was under the assumption that the entire bathhouse is fucking like
Rumler let out
losing
a,
its shit
a
right now.
cry, and
Oh,
the
he
guards
did?
are definitely alerted.
well,
So
the guards are, but would like the other
the
patrons,
security staff, well, the other patrons, yeah. I mean, you hear people kind of shouting, saying, cursing, saying, we got to get the hell out of here. What the hell's
Oh,
going
okay.
on? That
Never
kind of
mind
thing.
then.
No, it's a valid question.
But do I have, if I were to like step forward into like the doorway of his room, can I shoot him? Is that something? Do I have like?
Yeah, you can attempt to do that.
Okay. I am going to. Yeah, I'm gonna push myself.
Okay.
Standard effect.
Yep.
5.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, so that's enough to another blow to him, and he's on the ground, bleeding out.
Okay, so I walk in and I as I'm like pulling the gun out from my like jacket, I just say loud enough for people to hear. Ulf Ironborn sends his regards, you two-timing bastard, and then I shoot him.
Oh, he wants a war.
Now, the guards, are they just unconscious or dead?
No, the guards are still very well active, and well, one of
Oh,
them
no.
one of them is
One of them is
in a daze. He's in a suggestible state. The other one is drawing his blade, and looks to be closing in on Griffin.
Justin.
Can
Griffin.
I jump him from behind? The
Uh,
one that's drawing his blade.
I'll
Yeah.
be right back. Real quick.
yeah,
Sorry.
you can if you want.
All right.
Naked. Jump him from behind.
Haha.
And try and slip a vial of slumber essence down his throat.
Okay, that seems.
That seems a bit complicated, doesn't it?
I would just give you limited effect on getting that
Yeah,
in there,
he's-
or maybe that'd be a desperate
It'd
attempt.
probably make more sense to just try and choke him out
Knock him out.
or something. Yeah.
I mean, you could have brought a blade with you. I don't know.
But where would I hide it? Is what I was thinking.
In
Well,
your
we have a
robe.
light load.
All right.
Yeah, you guys had robes
Okay.
when you entered the bath area.
Then try and stab him in the back.
Okay,
Shank.
so you.
While he's distracted with the others.
Okay. So it sounds like you're trying to skirmish. My role really isn't to prescribe what you're rolling.
Oh.
You tell me the action and roll it. And
Could
I give you the position and the effect.
Could I do a prowl? That includes ambushing with close violence, a backstab, throat cutting, blackjack, etc.
Yeah, that sounds appropriate.
All right. And I'm going to push myself.
Okay.
So that's 2 stress.
Yep. Anybody want to assist?
No.
Has this
I will
guard
assist.
just seen me knock out essentially his other ones?
This one has, yes.
All right, so can I see sorry, which one are you speaking? Attacking from behind.
The one that
that's
is
Cricket.
The one
drawing
that's
his
not
sword.
dazed.
No, yes, I know, but who are you?
Cricket.
Oh, Cricket.
Cricket.
Yeah.
Lovely to play with you, Cricket. Since I see Cricket coming up behind him, can I kind of like make like a surprise, like engage the guard, like so he's looking at me and not suspecting someone coming up from behind?
So you're trying to
I'm
just draw his
distracting the
attention.
guard so he doesn't see someone coming up from behind him.
Well, his focus is right now on Griffin. So
Yeah, that I'm not assisting them.
Would that make this a controlled then, or?
it's still pretty risky
Alright.
because if he catches wind of what you're doing, there could be consequences.
Yeah.
I'll assist if I can like dive at the guy's legs to try to, I don't know, hold him down or something, so they can't get out of the way while you come at him with the knife.
It's sounding like the assists are maybe running counter to what Cricket's going for,
Yeah.
unless Cricket you want to.
I'm already pushing myself, so
Okay.
Okay.
We'll just do
I'll
that.
assist then.
standard effect,
Standard effect, yes.
and there'd be 1 bonus die for pushing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. So that would be so we'll say this is the I'll change Rumler's clock here to be the conscious bodyguard. And so standard effect would give you 2 ticks for him. The bodyguards overall are in pretty rough shape at the moment. So you prowl up to him and you manage to get the knife in his side, and he twists and turns, and it's you know, but he manages to turn around and take a swing at you, and so take a stress from taking a punch to essentially the face.
All right.
Hey, Matt,
Yes.
is there a back door to this place that we would be able to get out of that we've noticed, or is there only the...
Yeah, there would be a back door where you kind of parked the
Okay.
boat.
So I have a question about what an arcane implement would entail.
Arcane implement.
Yeah. Is that something like an arcane item that you can use, or is that like an arcane item to be used in a ritual? Like, could I have some kind of arcane essentially like a smoke grenade, like a lantern or something, or like a small something that I can put down that kind of like obscures the area?
There's a smoke bomb in alchemicals.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay then.
Take a bandolier.
Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, so the arcane implements are that it describes under standard items, a vial of quicksilver, a pouch of black salt,
Okay.
a spirit
never mind
anchor in the form of a small stone, a spirit bottle, a vial of electroplasm,
Yeah,
designed to break
okay.
and splatter on impact. So
Okay. Yeah, that's not what I was looking for.
okay,
I didn't realize that I didn't read the description for it.
sure. 13, do you want to enter the fray and see if
Yeah, I
Bomb
mean,
the place.
Not with us in it.
So the this bathhouse. So basically, the people who own the place know that something's going down, right?
yeah,
But
at this point they
Well,
do.
yeah, because
so,
there was a
yeah,
scream, a
yes.
gunshot, and Ulf Ironborn sends his regards, you two-timing bastard, bang.
Yeah, there's that. But so I assume they have guards, but would they bring in like other people from outside? Like, does this town have kind of like a law?
Yeah, the blue coats
Blue coats.
are the
Blue
sort of the
coats?
standard law in town, and
Ah.
so you'd assume that the somebody would be running to find a blue coat.
Do you think I know if they're out of the building yet?
You could attune to try and figure that out.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna talk to the ghosts or the demons. Sorry,
Yeah,
in the place.
My people.
Yeah. Yeah. So can I do that to try to find out if anyone's gotten out of the building yet?
sure.
Okay. So I click attune. Is this risky, desperate, controlled?
Risky.
Standard, and I'm assuming no one's gonna help me on this because no one else talks to ghosts.
Just my
You're
haunted
the
dolls.
demon!
I mean, if you
Okay.
pull out like a Ouija board, I'll help you.
Yeah, so you get a clear picture. You know, there's a guy. It's actually the maitre d' from before. He's like babbling at one of the guards in the front. It appears nobody's really left to go looking for the blue coats, aside from some of the patrons perhaps have filtered out into the streets. Some of them half naked. But you don't know if they're going for the blue coats or not. So
Okay.
Can I do a flashback?
sure.
Can I consort to use some of my blue coat contacts to say maybe have a slower response time to any events happening at the bathhouse tonight?
You could maybe suggest that their patrols not take them near the bathhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense.
All right. So it's one stress to do the flashback, right?
Is that what it is?
I don't know.
I didn't think so.
No, I think you can just flash back and
Oh, sweet.
but you could still have consequences. So
Yeah.
that's
I think I am still going to take a stress to push myself on the
You take 2 stress for that, sir.
right. Yep. To consort with my contacts. Risky?
yeah, that'd be risky.
Standard?
Yep.
Hey,
And
Matt,
bonus pushing myself. There we go.
That's pretty good.
nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
we don't have to worry about the blue coats.
yeah. Nate.
I was just gonna ask because I'm not sure if I understand how it works. For like, because there's like the XP for like resolve prowess insight, and then there's playbook advancement, and mine says you address the challenge with tracking or violence. Does like dome shotting, what's his face, count as that?
I'm sorry. So yes, but that's we'll tally that up at the end.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
just want to make sure if I understood
Um,
that correctly.
Oh yeah, and so there is a stress cost when you activate a flashback, but consorting with your allies is considered 0 stress.
Oh, cool.
Complex or unlikely opportunities are 1 stress, and then elaborate things that you're trying to do are like 2 stress. So that's like flashing back to doing a lot of studying beforehand and saying, oh well, you know, I would obviously know that if he walked out at this particular time, I, you know, could drop the chandelier on his head or something. You know.
Okay.
Okay. So, yeah, blue coat's taken care of. You've taken, you pushed yourself for that, so you got the stress.
Yeah, I took 2 stress for that.
Okay.
And then I'm going to imply that we maybe start getting out of here. Instead
Did
of
we-
fighting all of the guards.
Yeah, I would say that.
Are the guards?
Down.
Are the 2 bodyguards dead?
Well,
One's
one
still
One's like passed out and one's shanked.
alive, and well, they're both still alive. One is still on his feet and smarting for a fight.
Can I
I don't want.
suggest we blend into the patrons fleeing. Does that make sense? Because if everybody's kind of fleeing, we can kind of just all kind of.
Not if we
blend
leave this
into the
guy
bodies.
alive.
Yeah, but he's not. We killed his employer. He's not on his own gonna go through and try and avenge himself on us.
Yeah, but
Can I
leaving him
try?
alive makes it a lot easier for
Or fine,
People
if
my
we
line of work to
incapacitate
put us away.
incapacitate him and then try and slip out. So we can either kill both these guards and then try and slip out. So we gotta kill them quickly then.
Okay, I wanna, since I'm right in front of that one guard, I wanna turn around while he's distracted punching Cricket, I think it was, and stab him with 2 of my other throwing knives. Just in the sides.
Okay.
Position.
Risky.
Standard effect.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So you You shank him good, and he kind of twitches and then falls over, and now there's just blood all over the bathhouse.
It's not good.
Since I heard, I can't remember who it was, but somebody shouted at the Ulf,
That
sends
was
his
me.
regards.
Yeah.
Could I do a flashback to have studied up on if there's any sort of sign typically left behind by Ulf's men when they perform a hit to try and solidify that misdirection?
Sure. We'll call that a one stress flashback, but since I haven't made anybody pay for flashbacks this score, I'll let you do it for free. So how would you do that? What action?
I would have. I had a.
Sounds
Yeah,
like
I'm
maybe
struggling with words here. I have a background as a barrister, so I would have been familiar with cases where, you know, they've murdered people in the past, and I'd look through my case history to see if there was any sort of common calling card they left behind when they wanted to send a message.
sounds like maybe
Like a study or a survey. Yeah, study.
Yeah.
I can use my flashback aid if you want. I have one more of those for this score, either foresight.
If you think that'd be a wise action.
Sure. You can have the extra die. I'll say that I poked around some of my police contacts again and tried to corroborate any information you found.
So we're all going to be indulging some vices after this.
Yeah. Is this risky?
yeah, we'll say it's
Or is
well,
this controlled?
I would say it's controlled.
All right.
Standard effect.
Injured effect.
Standard.
And 1 bonus die.
5 bonus die.
Yeah, so it takes a late night to really dig in to the study, and maybe you ask a friend about it, and that may trickle its way back to Ulf. That somebody's asking around about if he's still using the certain symbol that he likes to use. Symbol would be what? Maybe just a crudely drawn smiley face in blood or something, or
Yeah.
A crude iron coin if his name is Ironborn.
Yeah. That sounds good.
okay.
Uh,
If I have to flash back to off one of his guys to get one, I'll do that. But
But then we just I just drop one of those at the feet of the dead guards.
Okay. Cool. And so you've got security personnel starting to make their way down the hall.
I'm heading out the back.
Damn.
I can't do the whole like blend in with the people running. So
Okay. So for those going out the back, I would say, how are you making your way there? Like it's slippery.
I'm butt naked. I'm gonna just run with the people.
Yeah, I'm naked and not covered in blood. I'm gonna run with the people.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got,
Yeah, actually, yeah, I could probably get away with that too.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I'll run with the
pull.
people.
I'm gonna pull a pistol out and a second pistol and unload both in the guard that's dazed.
okay.
We can't have witnesses.
All right.
Wow.
Then I
mean, you
imagine
could
I
probably
have.
just go one to the head, but that you do you.
no, man.
No, I
Ulf
like
does
that.
it
That's more brutal. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Flair.
very Ulf. It screams Ulf. Nobody could possibly know that it's not him.
I'm going to jump in the empty bath and wash the blood off myself real quick before
Okay.
heading for the exit.
What position should I do for? I'm gonna skirmish for the guns.
Don't. I wouldn't bother. You just take them out.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
In true old-timey fashion, I actually take out my Tommy gun and shoot Ulf Ironborn into the wall.
not All right.
Yeah, I mean, I step around, like, if there's, like, blood on the floor, I mean, I shot him, I wasn't, like, right next to him, so I skirt around,
Okay. So
like,
so
that
far
stall and start heading out back.
it's just Harrier heading out back. Griffin, are you going with him?
I'm gonna actually head out the front after. I still have like
You've got
the-
blood on you.
I've got blood on me, but I've still got the injuries from like when we were fake orgying, right?
Okay.
I'm gonna say I was
Your
running
ass
out.
hurts.
Like if someone asked me, I'm just gonna say I was running out and I slipped in the blood, and that's how I got these injuries.
Okay. So you're trying to sway them? Because
Yeah.
a guard does stop you. He's like, "Oh, whoa, wait, you've been into some business here."
Nah, man, nah. I was just trying to get out of here. I heard something was going down, and I slipped and fell. Hurt me bum. Got a lot of blood on me.
Okay. Um,
Very calm for having slipped into a pile of, into a
yeah,
pool of
It's
blood
man,
next to a
yeah.
couple
not
of
the
corpses.
first time. It's not the first time it's happened.
All right, we'll call this risky with standard effect.
Woo! Oh god.
Oh,
Oh,
Hey, not bad.
oh, wow.
Nice.
well, you still got a 4, so
Yeah, I know.
Why does it say take
'Cause
the
I don't
lowest
have
result?
any. I have
Yeah.
any in square.
he doesn't have any pips in that particular skill.
Ah,
Yeah, so you um, in your haste while you're talking to him, as if to demonstrate your clumsiness, you actually do slip on some on the wet tiles. In some of it's your own, some of it's the blood that's trickling down that causes you to slip. So we'll say you take another stress as you. Um, wait, does that put you over?
That puts me at trauma, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
He fell
Yeah.
off his ass, and he was never the same.
I was never the same after this orgy, guys. I think I might take haunted.
All right, that's perfect. All right. So yeah, you slip and we'll say you whack your head real good to inflict that trauma.
Yeah, I'm gonna come up and like see him slip. And like I said, I'm gonna assist him kind of out of here. Oh my God, baby, what's wrong? Oh, you're so injured, sort of deal.
Okay. And yeah, so Grit Harrier, and you're being kind of pursued out the back as sort of the lone assailants at this point.
Mhm. I mean, I get out and I immediately take, down whichever side of, like, whatever back alley
Yeah.
seems the best way to, like,
Well, I'm just saying the floors are wet, and to make it out without breaking your own neck, I would suggest if you want to go quickly, you might want to finesse this. Otherwise, you might get caught relatively soon.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'll try and finesse it.
Okay.
If I take a trauma, does that set my stress back down?
Yes, it does.
Do I still? Okay.
5.
Okay. Yeah. So you skid your way, along the slick bathhouse tiles, and you slam your shoulder against the tiles as you're making your way down down the curling stairs towards the bottom of the bathhouse where it abuts up against the canal. You vault over the railing and make your way into the Perilicious, and then kind of push your way off into the night where the Perilicious blends in as just another gondola
Yeah.
on the canal.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's sort of the scene for the score, and that's kind of how it's supposed to go down. You know, there are opportunities to give up on a score. You know, if you think it's going poorly, you don't have to follow it through.
There's usually less crazy sex stuff.
Usually less crazy sex stuff. The So you do get your standard score. We'll say this is 6 coin for getting this done and blaming it on Ulf.
Is that each
Yeah, that's
or
what I
split
was-
between us?
However you guys want to divvy that up. That's up to you guys.
Well,
I
I
said I'll
think
just take a coin.
someone should not get any this time since he spent the stuff that we had.
Hey, you know what? I was like, I did everything this.
Um,
I'm gonna be haunted for the rest of my life.
I'm okay with everybody taking a coin since there is 6 of us, correct?
Yeah.
I believe
Yeah.
so.
Though I'm going to strongly suggest that Griffin puts his coin in the vault.
Yeah, no, that's going to my stash.
I am going to strongly suggest.
I'm gonna strongly ignore that, Biddy.
Ugh,
All right.
such a brat.
So I'm just gonna say I'm gonna advance Ulf's patience as growing thinner, and
Oh man, are you telling me that he didn't appreciate my stunt?
and I'm tempted to advance it twice, but
Dude, you know what? I would
Do
take
it,
that
don't
because
go
the
easy
hive,
on us.
yeah, the hive is about to fucking shit on his operations. So
all right. So yeah, Ulf's patience is wearing thin, and I advanced Celia's scheme 1 because she was definitely in on kind of maybe alerting him to some danger and
Yep.
seeing how you guys
So-
operate out in the open. So
So what happens when
Oh,
these max out?
sorry, explain to him first. I was just gonna say a detail thing.
well, these are longer term clocks, if you will, and what happens when they max out? Well, when Ulf's patience runs out, he's going to retaliate, and we can.
But if he doesn't figure out that it was like, I know that he doesn't like us already because we stole his hideout, but like if he doesn't know that the bathhouse thing was us, he doesn't retaliate against us, right? You'd have to like find that out.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
right. But if he has any suspicion, which might not be hard to identify, you guys.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was more as like a patting block against the hive, because if the hive comes to him, it's going to be his word against, like, oh no, I didn't do it. Like, you
Yeah.
know.
Do we want to clock for the hive's suspicion?
Yes.
That's something we should probably track.
But what I was going to say, Matt, is that my like trademark bandana and hat that I normally wear, I was not wearing those ones. I was
You
not
know what?
wearing those when.
I was gonna ask that earlier when we first got in. We were all gonna be naked in the tub, and you're still wearing that bandana.
No, I would have just like picked. I would have just like had a just like a hood on or something, but not like the signature bandana and hat that I normally have. I would have gone with a lighter, not like an armored jacket either, just a regular jacket.
I see.
I know that I should have said that at the start, but I forgot. I'll
No,
take
no,
like
that's
a
fine.
stress to.
Fine,
Okay.
fine. Trust me, stress is a currency that Griffin just ran out of. So I mean, it's something that
I mean,
you want to guard
judging by
against.
the past couple times we've played, like this character's not long.
Well, you guys will learn some tricks, and solving everything with violence isn't gonna necessarily do it. But
Oh,
I mean, yes,
challenge
but that is like
accepted, Matt.
that's like the core of my character. So
yeah. So for the payoff, you got 6 coin. You distributed that as you were so fit to do. So the question is, do you want to pay the Lamp Blacks because they're kind of your sponsors in this area? Do you want to pay them or do you want to kind of risk them finding out that that you did a score without paying the boss?
So I have a question real quick.
Yeah.
This clock for red sashes eliminating lamp blacks, that's like them like taking their men out and stuff, right?
That's right.
Okay.
That might advance on its own. I'm choosing not to do that right now, but
Yeah. So I mean, since I'm new to the crew, new to the area, I would go to whoever it is we talk to in the lamp blacks and offer them the payment.
out of your own
Also,
pocket.
yeah, out of my own pocket. And also, if they want some of the red sashes eliminated back, that's definitely within my area of expertise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Baz certainly appreciates the gesture. And oops, I didn't mean to advance that. So
And what's this about rep?
yeah, so we'll get to rep in just a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean that might be a good setup for another score if you want to.
Yeah. I basically say, you know, I understand the hierarchy of things. You want a couple of their street guys taken out, do it pro bono. Any bigger targets, and we can talk
Right.
reparations.
So as far as heat goes, we'll say this was pretty standard, contained, even though it was loud and chaotic. You know, you covered your tracks a little bit, so we'll put 2 heat on the. I'll just say Thorn if you want to be in charge of the sheet.
Sure.
Add 2 heat to the couriers.
That is exactly why you bring the guns.
Right. So complications get worse as heat gets higher, and then once heat reaches like level 9, you want to you gain a wanted level.
Someone's going to jail.
You gain a wanted level, and then law enforcement can come looking for you, and yeah, you can send somebody to jail to clear your wanted level. So
yeah. Okay. So
um,
are we all heading back to the bar now, or to our hideout? Or...
well, no. So now we're starting downtime, which starts with entanglements.
Okay.
Do we get rep for that job?
Yes. So I'm getting to that.
Yeah. Sorry.
Because we still don't know who is backing Phoebe Anvil.
Right. Hang on. Where did the... Well, that's weird. Sorry, I'm just wondering why they're not telling us to score XP here.
Possibly crew XP?
Right, so well, we can just score it now. So, you contended with a challenge above your station, so that would be 1 crew XP.
Oh wait, is this so crew XP?
Yeah, the crew itself has its own XP tracker,
Yeah.
so we get special like crew special abilities.
I said you went, you were brutal and daring, I would say, so that's another XP.
Okay.
I'd say that's probably good for the crew advancement. As far as rep, you're paying off the lamp blacks, so but you're not really well, and I guess Phoebe and Esme are seeing you do your work pretty well, so we'll give you 2 rep for this one as well.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, so you're clawing your way up the chain a little bit. So turf lets you advance with less rep. To get the turf, you need to claw it away from somebody, and that can be a score in and of itself.
Okay.
To acquire basically any of these things in the middle around your layer, basically usually requires a score to get to. When I kind of throw it out to you guys and say, if you have ideas for scores you want to do, look
Yeah.
back at the crew sheet and say, if there's something there that you've got your eye on, that can be something that you want to do as well.
Yeah.
Let's see. So I think that kind of does it for the crew sheet. Let's go
Okay.
through each of you. So for Thorn, so did you do some calculation or conspiracy, I'd say, in service of this score? What do you think?
I arranged for the blue coats to not show up.
Yeah. That's true. Okay. So you can mark XP for that. Anything else? Did you express your heritage or drives or anything?
Probably not. I don't think I did much of anything else besides that.
Okay, that's fine. And you got your XP for resolve, which is good.
Yep.
Okay, so Biddy,
Mhm.
you got you tried your hand at deception
Yes.
a couple times. Didn't really engage with your background or anything,
Nope.
or your vice.
Nope.
So I'll be generous and say you did deception and influence a couple times. So we'll say two XP for that. All right. Who else? Griffin. Yeah. So you definitely addressed a challenge with violence.
Yeah. Should I get like an extra one for coercion that I did the last session when there was 3 of us? Because we never got XP for that, but technically I did coerce that squirrely guy in the bar.
Sure. I think that stacks up pretty well. Okay. Harrier. What's that?
The other ones I didn't at all, so that's it.
Yeah.
I was just saying.
Harrier, you addressed a challenge with violence.
I did in the face.
Yeah. And
I
you
used command
expressed
twice.
Yeah, once using your heritage. So we'll give you 2 XP for that. A total of 2 XP for your thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You typer OC fast. Love that shit.
Let's see. Cricket. You
He came through clutch on the big orgy roll.
Yeah, that's true. But you also used some calculation, I believe. What was your flashback that you?
That I went through old case files
Yeah.
from my barrister days to look for
Yeah.
signature of oaths.
Sure. Okay. And well, so that actually addressed your background as well. So we'll give you 2 XP for that.
All right.
And lastly, 13.
I'm pretty sure I did about nothing. The only thing I did this session was attune that one time.
Yeah, it's not over yet.
That's arcane power.
Yeah, I guess.
So we'll give you 1 XP for that. Yeah, I mean, Whisper can be tough to engage with if
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure it out.
yeah.
I mean, this is also like a very
well, 6 people is
straightforward
also
at this point.
pretty tough to juggle in terms of hard to rely on everybody to do that. So
Be
that's
able to do something.
yeah.
Don't worry, Desmond. When we have to go into Ghostland, it's all you.
But coming away with a coin and no stress is also pretty nice. So
Yeah.
cool. So now we go into the downtime phase, which Thorn, you can reduce the heat, I guess, is the smuggler's ability.
Oh yeah, we get the passive free heat.
Call it the heat sink.
Yeah.
Boom.
Well, also for reducing heat, Cricket has thing during downtime you get a +1 result level when you acquire an asset or reduce heat. Would that add on to our crew's reducing heat thing?
That's if he like takes the downtime action to roll a die to reduce heat. He basically a 1 through 3
Yeah.
counts as a 4/5, and a 4/5 counts as a 6.
Okay. Just making sure.
So you've got 2 heat right now?
Yeah, just 2.
Okay. So I've got to generate an entanglement for the crew. So, Biddy, can you go ahead and roll fortune for us?
Yes, I can.
No whammies, no whammies.
Number of dice?
Your water level is 0, right? So,
Yep.
0. So with 3. So with heat 0 through 3, gang trouble or the usual suspects. So
Wonder which one's gonna be.
last time it was usual suspects, so it should be gang trouble this time. But you don't
I
have a
wonder
gang,
what
really.
gang.
You don't have gangs. Gangs are like people you recruit to do your dirty work.
Oh, I thought it meant like a rival faction.
Right. So they're basically roughing up somebody on the periphery of the crew. So that's the blue coats grabbing somebody, and
Not chill.
that's interesting. Say it's Celine. So Harrier, you're someone who looked a bit like you was seen at the bathhouse, and so they grab Celine to bring her in for questioning. So,
Okay.
how much they talk? Let's see.
That's racial profiling right there.
Harrier,
I
can
mean, it is. That's fucking horseshit. But I mean,
We need a lawsuit. How do I roll for lawsuit?
you?
U.S.
Well,
cricket.
represent myself in court.
Would you say Celine's pretty tough?
I mean, I would say, yeah, she's like, basically what I had is that she's the person who like kind of shows up and bails my ass out, and then like, as if it's nothing, but doesn't give me any reason why.
Okay, so make a 3-die fortune roll.
3-die fortune roll. You got it. Where the fuck's my character sheet? There it is. Roll fortune. 3 dices. Submit. No notes. 155.
Okay, so she spills just a little bit of information, just letting them know that that you've been rolling with the Canal Street Couriers. So that could add 1 heat, or you could pay off the blue coats for 2 coin.
I have no coin. I gave my coin to the blacks.
Looks like the crew has 2 coin if we want to use the crew's money
Again.
Eh,
again. Yeah.
eh,
Probably just take the heat.
I say we just take the heat.
It's only 1 heat, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
That still keeps you at 3, right? So
Yeah,
Yeah.
that just takes us up to 3 right now.
okay, so that's the entanglement. Now comes downtime activities. So you can use this time to acquire assets, to work on a long-term project, to recover, to reduce heat. Recover is if you suffered any injuries, which I haven't been using harm really, but I probably should have. Actually, yeah, for Harrier, why don't you take
Yeah.
a bruised shoulder for less effect? So under like
For my special ability, I took tough as nails. Penalties from harm are 1 level less severe. Though level 4 harm is still fatal.
okay, so just remove a stress
Yeah.
then.
Okay.
I'd
Wait,
like to advance my moonshine contact as my downtime
okay.
activity.
Actually, no, still record the harm. Take bruised shoulder, but
Okay.
but you have 1 less stress. So you're advancing your moonshine contact. How are you doing that?
I'm gonna go, since I've already kind of located on the docks where they kind of who's got the best moonshine. I'm gonna go start buttering them up again. Kind of be like, hey, we'd be interested in buying. We'd love to be a contact. We'll get this to. We've got a couple of tavern owners that maybe we can work with. Just kind of making it advantageous for both of us.
Okay, so what action would that be?
I would say that would be a sway.
So go ahead.
So, and that's just controlled, right?
Yeah, sure. Okay. So, there's you get a little bit of pushback, but it seems like they're sort of amenable to uh, what you're looking at. So, you can advance it 2 segments.
Okay.
So yeah, so everybody gets 2 actions. So I don't think I got through them all. Acquire assets. Biddy just worked on a long-term project. That's what that looks like. Recover, which helps you reduce harm. Reduce heat. So if you are feeling the heat and you want to try and get that down, now's the time to do that. You can train. You have, as a group, training in finesse, I believe it is.
Prowess.
Prowess.
It looked like.
That's right. So you can earn XP in your downtime with prowess, and you can indulge your vice, which reduces stress. So recovery doesn't happen naturally right away. Usually, might take a couple rolls to get you over the threshold. And what that does is it reduces the level of harm that you've got. So bruised shoulder for Nate would drop from a 1 to a 0, and so it would disappear. But if you had anything in the 2 column, which is the -1 die column, that would drop from a 2 to a 1, and that's how harm works its way out every time you fill up that recovery clock.
Yeah.
So it's its own little long-term project. So
What are assets?
So acquiring assets, you get temporary use of a special item, usually along your gang's tier, which right now it's 0, so you get pretty crappy stuff. You could require get a cohort, which is an expert or a gang. You could get a vehicle or some kind of service like temporary storage or legal representation or something like that.
And these are temporary assets?
Yeah. They'll stick around about a week, so until they kind of lose interest or you hit your first like serious battle or something that involves them. If you acquire the asset again, you get a +1 D to your roll. If you continue to reacquire the asset, you can effectively rent it indefinitely and get it on a more permanent basis. So. So if you want something more long term, usually acquiring it via some kind of long term project is probably good. So Biddy, did you have any ideas for what you want to do for your second downtime? Biddy,
Yeah.
do you have any ideas what you want to do for your second downtime activity?
Not super stressed, so I don't want to do that. Can I try my contact again?
For the long term project?
Yeah. Or can I only do that one?
Yeah, you can do it twice.
Yeah, I just want to try. I've only got one pie section left, so I want to try and get that
Okay.
busted out. Again, I'm just basically chilling out with these moonshine fellas. We had a party, and I was just like, "See, we could work together. It's so awesome."
Yeah. So yeah, you finish that off and manage to bring them over to an idea where they're essentially willing to leverage your services when they want to distribute their moonshine.
Sweet. So that means I was thinking. So when we talked about this, we were talked about getting a dock worker kind of contact or someone from the area, a contact for the area that sells alcohol. Essentially, is what we were trying to get for our crew.
Yeah. So
So
yeah, so you can either take the Ellen, or Elin, the dock worker contact on the crew sheet, or add a new one if you want.
okay.
And then
I guess we'll just take Elin.
okay. And since you acquired a new contraband source, you can mark XP on the crew advancement. And okay, so that was Biddy Thorn. What do you got?
All right. I'd like to start a long-term project to attempt to acquire one of Salia's gangs.
Okay.
She's an information broker. Is it reasonable to assume she's got like a gang of rooks? That they're con artists, spies, and socialites?
Okay.
I basically want to start like taking over her network and have them work for me instead.
Okay. So you're trying to sway Salia's network to your side. Okay.
Yes.
We'll call this a six clock.
Okay.
And how are you going to what action are you using to try and get them over?
I'd say maybe consort.
A little get to know you
Yeah.
time? Sure. Okay, so go ahead and make a roll.
Risky position? Or is downtime just
It's just
flat?
drinks. It's just drinks. Well, yeah, it's not. Yeah, position doesn't really matter for the long-term projects.
Gotcha.
Unless you're 13, in which I'll change
Okay.
my mind on that. So yeah, so you got a 6, so that advances you 3 segments.
Nice. And that goes on my sheet somewhere? Or I'll just
Yeah,
put it in
so
notes?
that goes on your sheet. There's a place to add clocks
Okay.
above your notes.
Ah, fucks. Okay. 6 segment, 3 segments. Cool.
All right. So
And
that was, oh, and by
so
the way,
I s-
there's a handout for this if you guys haven't seen it. It's this
yeah,
one.
I took a look at it.
Yeah, I was just looking at it actually.
For my second action, I think I'll train prowess, which that's the one that gives me 2 XP.
Correct.
I will do that then.
Yeah, it gives you 2 XP because we have the training
Yeah.
upgrade. So cool. All right, Griffin.
He's muted.
Griffin. Harrier.
So
Sorry, my oh yeah, sorry, my headphones came plugged. So
That's okay.
go ahead then.
I want to indulge my vice.
Here we go again.
Wait, don't you have no stress? Didn't it all get cleared when you
Yeah,
took the
Hydrix
trauma?
trauma?
Yes. However, this is a role. And I'm very confident about what I want to do. And the core component of my character is that he feels he needs to atone for every violent action he makes by getting the shit beat out of him. So I'd like to hit.
Would you prefer to take a harm just instead of indulging your vice?
Yeah. Sure. I mean, either one's fine with me.
Okay.
I think I know
I think
what.
actually a harm would be better. Like technically, like I would still go to the boxing thing, but because I'm haunted, I would be be like thinking back to something that happened and not paying attention, and then got hit. Like they got a free hit on me.
Okay. I guess I'll let you mark a XP on your character at your playbook advancement, and take a bruised ribs. We'll call it a level 1 harm this time. And was there anything else you wanted to do, Griffin?
You can train playbook advancement, right? Or no?
No.
No, that's just the other things.
Yeah.
I do want to train.
You can train any attribute, and if you train prowess, you get 2 XP.
Oh, really? Well, prowess then. Holy crap. That's awesome.
All right. You were gonna say something, Biddy?
Oh no, I was just looking through my stuff, and it says, set up a teammate, and I guess I was wondering if me using like the transpouter would be setting up them, or was it more of like an immediate bim bang boom setup?
You using the what?
I was just reading through the thing, and it said teamwork. If I set up a teammate, like set up an action for them, and when I went in with the transpouter, I was wondering if that counted, or if it was more of like a immediate setup for an action to happen.
Oh no! See, under train it says I can do attribute or playbook advancement.
Okay. Sorry. I guess you
Okay.
got me. So the setup for that action was somebody assisting you, saying, "Hey, over here."
Okay.
Right?
All right. So I just wanted
Yeah,
to.
I had called for their attention so that they looked in her direction so she could powder him.
Yep. Perfect.
That's how that works. Okay, Harrier.
I am going to, I guess, start a project of trying to figure out who I'm supposed to be like actually contacting in the city for my noble house.
Okay.
So they didn't actually tell me; they just told me that I had to.
Okay. So let's call this an 8 clock because it seems like maybe that's a longer term thing
Yeah.
going on. How are you doing this? Are you what action are you using?
I would say hunt, right? Because I'm trying to like find the specific person.
Yep. Okay.
You know, listening in if I happen to like if Celine, you know, if I run into her, she clearly knows more than I do, so I kind of like, you know, drop the whole, you know, tall, dark, and mysterious act. Like I need to know.
Right.
Doing, but mostly hunt, I would say.
Okay. So go ahead and roll that.
That's 3.
Okay, so that's just one segment.
Okay. Boom.
And you want
And for my second action, is there like any way? Because so like Ulf's men, like if we took the territory from them, like they're still in the area, right? Can I start like moving? Can I like move against Ulf, like his men? Like
in what way?
I guess we're not at war yet. I don't know. Is he like sending people into our turf, or like has he not gotten that far yet because his patience isn't gone?
Right. No, I mean, you can probably expect him to retaliate sooner or later, but
He's not like right now.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'll just train. Train prowess.
Okay.
By the
Good
way,
action.
that extra XP from training let me get another special ability. So I took Vigorous.
Okay. So you good, Harrier?
Yeah. Yeah. If there's nothing that I can do against Ulf, then I'm going to train.
I mean, you
How do you
could
want to start a war?
you could set up a project to undermine him somehow, or I don't.
Could we? I know it might be something you're interested in, but you said we can send people to jail to reduce our heat. Could we send Ulf to jail to reduce our heat with a project?
You could try and set him up to take the fall for your activities. Yeah.
Yeah.
That might require a score on top of the a long-term project, but yeah, you
Yeah.
could do that.
Yeah. I'm gonna do that instead then, since I'm the one who implicated him, I guess.
Okay. So framing Ulf, we'll call it an 8 o'clock as well.
Okay. What would I like? What would that?
So it might be getting some blue coats on the payroll, some investigators on the payroll. It might be spreading rumors. Could be. I'll let other people contribute to this long-term project if you want.
Okay. So could I try and like use command to try and make I guess because command isn't necessarily just intimidate. It's also it didn't say like using like
It's kind of using your gangs as
yeah
well.
like to kind of like push people into investigating Ulf for us.
Maybe you could push some of his guys to testify against him.
Yeah, if I could like hunt some people down, just intimidate the shit out of them to like testify or like not even testify against necessarily, but like come forward with the stuff that he's been having them do. I guess confess. If I have to hunt them down with hunting them down and like intimidating them or roughing them up a bit.
Yeah, you could possibly do that. I feel like you probably need more information to go on as to where he'd be vulnerable for this kind of setup.
Okay.
So maybe you're roughing them up for information via command.
Yeah, that works.
Okay. So make a roll for that then.
Do I get any bonus dice for like it? You said that like other people are like the rest of the crew is kind of helping out too. Do I get bonus dice or no?
No.
Okay.
They can just
A 4.
do their own contribution to that. So yeah, 4 is 2 segments. So
Okay, cool. Clock name. Okay, and that's my shtick.
okay. Cricket.
I think I'm gonna start off by seeing if I can do anything to reduce the heat that we built up during that last run.
Sure. So
Uh, maybe dip back into my contacts from my days as a barrister and see if I can't find you know, one of the less savory blue coats that I might have worked with in the past who could see that evidence on this most recent little kerfuffle of ours as lost or contaminated somehow.
Okay. So are you consorting, swaying? What are you doing?
Consorting, I
Okay.
think.
Okay.
Is that risky or controlled?
It doesn't really matter. Just
Ah.
take the action. Wow. Okay. So yeah, the heat is gone.
Yep.
You
I
got
reduce it by 5.
3. That's not a critical.
Yeah, but I improve the heat reduction rolls by 1 because I'm connected. That's
Okay.
my
Yeah.
spider trait.
Okay. Yeah. So the heat's gone. Heat's totally off on the on you guys. So
Woo!
all right.
Don't worry, I'll brag about the next one.
And so what else are you gonna do, Cricket?
I think I'm also going to train.
Okay.
In prowess.
13. What you doing?
I'm gonna train in prowess as well, just because double XP is nice.
Yeah.
But so that other people can help with this kind of setup Ulf thing.
Yeah.
So can I use study to hold on. There's a page that tells me what I can do. Yeah, use study, or I guess I could use a tune actually to talk to the ghosts or the demons, and see if Ulf's been up to anything like really, really big that would get him in a lot of trouble.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. Make a roll on a tune.
Come on.
Kind of.
Yeah. So that's enough for 2 segments. Yeah. So you uncover some dirt. You figure out where the bodies are hid. That's where what the demons are good at telling you about, is where the literally where the bodies are hid. And
one would have been them being like, "Yeah, he just shot up a fucking bathhouse. It was crazy."
then a bit about who they are, and why, where they would be, where they would be missed. So, starting to build the case against Ulf. So, cool. All right, so it's getting on towards 11. Don't think we've got time for another score. So this was fun. I apologize if some of you didn't get as much stage time. I probably wouldn't run a group this large again without you guys having more footing underneath you as far as understanding. But I think it also probably helps to see how other people play, to understand sort of the flow of things. And this was again kind of a simple score, as with the first one, but sort of helps move and progress people along a little bit before things get more complicated, and there's a bit more going on in terms of the world. But you can see already there's wheels turning, there's clocks moving. Hopefully you feel like you're part of a bigger city than just your little corner. So
Yeah.
Hey Matt,
Yeah.
I have 2 questions real quick. One, how does obviously we had like a little bit of combat, but that was kind of like I walked up and shot a dude in the head. We stabbed a guy. And we
yeah.
say that like I'm in a firefight with someone, like we're like ducking behind like doorways and stuff. What are if I don't have an armor class for him to hit, is it just like he fires and hits me, I fire and hit him, and like we see who rolls better until one of us gets in harm, or like how do engagements work more so than just like I shoot him?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm going to look at some more examples of this, but the way I think it's really supposed to work is when you choose to engage in that firefight, it's sort of the the initial salvos back and forth are one roll, and it's your roll, because that's how because it's kind of under your terms, and how damage is tracked is you get harm as consequences of bad rolls, or as even if it's a 4 or 5. If you're in a desperate situation, the consequences are going to be worse than if you are in a controlled situation. Um, so whether or not your back is against the wall, quite literally, or you're perched on a rooftop, can sort of determine the severity of the consequences. So I might say, okay, you're going to take a 2 consequence because this was just risky, but um, they got, but you failed your roll, right?
Yeah.
At least I think that's my reading of it. I don't know. Justin, did you say you picked up the game?
Yeah,
We
that's
both did. That's
kind of
that's
the
what I.
James too, yeah.
It's basically like you choose to engage in the firefight, so you choose to either fight or run. Say you roll to fight. If you roll like a 6, you shoot him and nothing bad happens. You roll a 4 or 5, you hit him. You do what you want it to do, but like something bad happens. Either you have to like run out of cover, or you like get shot in the foot or something. And then like on a 1, 2, or 3, you miss, and then something worse will happen, modified by the position, how bad it is.
Okay.
So
Yep.
pretty much everything's on our rolls. Like how
Okay.
bad
Pretty much
we
just
do,
always
how
roll
good we do,
6s.
determines.
And
Yeah.
then they get to roll resistance to see how much of the harm they can mitigate, or
Nobody else does anything like that. Like they don't roll or anything. If we roll to do a thing, it does that thing.
Yeah, they don't get
You
any
wanna
rolls
hit somebody,
whatsoever.
you roll well, like a 4 or 5. You shoot him, he gets hit. Your position or effect or is what determines how effective it is.
Yeah,
Um,
and it's what's your goal for the situation, and if I'm making you roll and you roll poorly, there's going to be consequences, and so how the situation escalates and the consequences begin to pile up, that's when people start taking harm and
uh,
taking trauma and
but,
stuff.
but you can roll resistance to try and reduce the consequences.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yep.
And other people can try and like protect you.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, there's like a protect action where you can take the consequence for somebody, I think.
So
Okay. And a second question, I kind of forgot that I had a trained hunting pet. Could he have assisted me on my hunt roll? So I like would have rolled an extra die, or like, because it just says hunter. It just says hunting expert. I don't know what that means.
yeah.
That he's an expert hunter. I don't understand the context of that.
So I'll have to look that up as to what that means. But an expert is essentially a cohort for your gang that can do that kind of assistance. So that's probably, they can probably give you like an automatic bonus die um, to that action when they're available.
Okay.
So, but I'll double check that one.
Okay.
Might do something like increasing the effect instead of giving you more dice too. So instead of being more likely to succeed, if you do succeed, you succeed
Yeah.
better.
Yep. Okay.
So,
Yeah, that could be it as well. So, anybody else have anything they want to ask or suggestions for next time?
We could do a score about some actual smuggling.
Yep. Yeah, I definitely have that in mind.
Maybe try and take over some of Ulf's smuggling capacity.
try
Yeah.
to get some of
You
his
know,
turf.
fight someone somewhere along the way.
Yeah, I realize that I've set you up on 2 scores. This one very well could have been a smuggling score, but you kind of jumped at the first lead I threw out there, which happened to not be smuggling. And again, a lot of this can be self-directed. You don't have to rely on me for leads. Like um, especially with the clocks turning in the background, things are going to come up. If somebody wants to say, hey, let's go after this time, or let's make a run. We need some coin. Let's make a run with our new moonshine contact. You guys can go ahead and do that. So.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Cool, guys. Well, thanks a bunch. Like I said, I'll try not to make it such a big group next time, but I'm thrilled that you guys could all make it this time. Hopefully you had some fun and learned a bit about the game, or we're happy with the advancement you got this time. Well,
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
Definitely better than playing with 2 to 3.
I think 3's not so bad.
3's not terrible, but 2 is
Yeah, two's a bit thin, but all right, guys.
Unless you get a good buddy cop comedy sort of thing going on.
True. That's true.
All right. Well, you guys have a lovely evening.
Yep.
You too.
Yeah,
too.
Bye.
Later, guys.